as a pro designer for content marketing, you have to be able to pump out designs at lightning speed. So today we're going to look at some of these designs that I recently went through and reviewed for LinkedIn posts. And if you haven't seen that, you should watch that. But today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to generate these images. Now we're going to use AI when applicable. Otherwise, we're going to use Canva. I want to choose a few of these. If we have more time, we could go into more. But just so you can get an idea of how to steal designs, basically use that design as inspiration so that you can create more designs based on something that actually is already working. So I'm going to do it on Canva mostly, which all of you have access to. Canva is so good to use, but if there's things that are more advanced, I might use Photoshop. Most likely, I won't need it. So we're going to go in with the first design. This one is Greek god, LinkedIn thing, and the text. Now you could also notice the background has a bit of darker color, right? It's kind of a gradient. So let's go. And I will open a new window. Oh, here's my YouTube. Okay. So open the new window. OBS is here. Recording. It is recording. All right, we're ready to go. So if I am stealing a design, basically the first thing that I would typically do is just to start out on a template. So for example, I'll take like a template that is 1080 by 1350. So let's just start our own. 1080, 1350. Now, for our first design, we have this one. And as we are going to copy this, we'll drag it in, and then literally the first step. Now, this is actually a really good practice if you're a new designer, is to copy word for word this text. So I'm going to add a text box, and I'm going to I'm going to write that from 0 to 11.5 million views in 131 days with AI. Now that is too small, so we're going to make it big. And you could drag it out on Canva, which is why I love Canva. It's just so intuitive. All right, so right here, definitely needs a big, bold, strong font. We'll just use something like this. Maybe Poppins. Do I like Poppins? Do you like Poppins? Let me know in the comments. If you like Poppins, then we'll use Poppins. And that definitely needs to be a lot thicker, bigger. And then from here, you can change the letter spacing, which is what it's like. So as I noticed, there's something else here that we didn't bring up, which is the condensed font. So from here, it's a bold sans serif condensed. Now, we could find something like that, like Lucidity condensed, or any of these other ones, Roboto condensed. I like Roboto a lot. You could start using different fonts too to be more, more hip with it, depending on your target demographic, who your audience is, and whatnot. But we have this. We'll use this one. This one seems pretty similar. So I'll use that. I'll make it big, and as you can see here, the spacing is a lot different already. Like the line needs to be closer together, and the font is a bit smaller than our example, because our example has some very bold, strong font. So what I've noticed was that has some space. All right, so essentially we have the font section in there already. Let's just have a background. Let's do a gradient background. This one works. Oh, that's a video actually, so let's not do that. But let's pick another gradient background. And I can have this 90 degrees as it fits the whole thing. All right. So as that's all happening, we should have been generating something on board. So this is Midjourney. I'm going to generate some Disney style Zeus god holding the LinkedIn logo, AR 3x4, which is aspect ratio. I'm going to generate that as we go back and work. Oops, didn't mean to do describe. Imagine Disney style Zeus holding LinkedIn logo, aspect ratio 3x4. All right, so we'll generate that one. And then from here, we have this ugly gradient that I don't like so much. So we're going to find a different one. Now this gradient's better. I'll zoom this out. And then we'll have it like this. So you could also change how dark the gradient is and whatnot, just so it fits more of a design that you like or whatever mood that you're doing. So this is big now. We notice it's a bit big. So you're starting to see it come together, right? Also, I like to have a reference. So we'll have that as a reference. There's our Zeus. There's our gradient that now I look at is not very good. So let's continue looking at other gradients. And the one they use is one where it's bright in the center and dark on the outside. So we could pull something up that's similar to that as well. Gradient circle, maybe. Okay. So maybe something like this, and then just pull it out so big that it fits the whole screen. All right, there you go. So we will get rid of that background and we'll move our new background here. Bring to front. All right, now actually I'm gonna delete that. Oops, what happened here? Okay, move that there. Well, can't move it. I'll just paste it, and then I will layer this to the back, send this to the back. And then as we have been generating, this doesn't look like a fun Zeus style, so let's go and do this again. So what I like to do is Disney style Zeus happy holding logo. Okay, so we'll generate a few. Happy Zeus in Disney style holding logo, aspect ratio 3x4. We'll just have a few going, and then we're gonna go back in here, and then with this font, we are going to write something else. So I'm going to duplicate this font, and then we're gonna write 11.5 million views. So from this views section, we'll change the color. We'll also make this a bit bigger too, because we want it to pop out. So we'll change the color. I'll grab the color that they had just for reference sakes, but for you, you should consider which color that you use that is bright and helps contrast and bring attention to whatever is in the middle. So as you're generating your post, consider this. Whatever you're doing, maybe it's from 0 to 2 million views, then you might do 2 million views in how many amount of time in 1 week with maybe content marketing or whatever big value offer that you have. Now I like AI, so I'm just going to keep it. And I'm also going to bring the letters a bit closer now that I see that it's a bit wide. And I like how this looks, so I'm going to keep it. I also noticed this is pretty big too. They really put some emphasis on this, so I'll bring it up even bigger. All right, so now we have a similar style to what they have. Next thing we have to do is bring in the character, the protagonist. So none of this looks like a 3D style yet. If you're really frustrated and you don't like what the generations have been doing, you could also copy this, background remover it, and then after you do that, you're gonna have this reference, the reference of the character, which the background remover is not really doing so well, right? Okay, let's try this. Let's try it again. I'll erase everything but him. All right. Wonder if that works. Okay, it doesn't work too well, actually. Usually the background remover works really well. This time it's just being a little weird, so if it doesn't work, you just gotta get crafty. I took a screenshot, drag it in, and then I want to use the background remover again. So once you do it, again, you remove the background, then you can use this character as a reference for your Midjourney. And then once on Midjourney, you could replicate this exact style. Now, took a photo of that guy, bring it into Midjourney, paste it there so that I can get the link. So now once I have the link of this, I can describe it and I can reference this style. So I'm gonna do /describe link, paste this in there so that it describes the prompt. Well, I guess just because he's topless. So I'll just imagine referencing the style. Zeus in a toga, style ref, and we'll generate it. So hopefully it doesn't say asked photo filter again. This happens every so often because Midjourney is just not good at telling styles apart. So I'm going to go in and we're going to have to try this a few times. Imagine 3D Disney style, happy Greek god. Aspect ratio, could be whatever. So we don't need to do the aspect ratio, but I'm going to generate a Disney style, happy Greek god. I'll do a few more. Disney style, happy Greek Zeus, and I'll repeat it twice. This way it runs the generation 2 times, and then I'll have more options to look at. So this is the thing with AI. Sometimes it just turns out bad. And if it does turn out bad, then you could go back to their designs and elements and then try to find something that makes better sense, that fits in here, and you could just drag in your own image. Now, I really like that Zeus thing, so I'm gonna go back in here and see if we could find a Zeus that we can use. So with this one, maybe I'll do one of these Zeuses. So upscale that second Zeus, or maybe this Zeus, this third Zeus looks really happy. I'll upscale that one. I'll zoom out. I'll make this a little bigger. And then when it's a little bigger, we can use it for something, you know? So I'll make it bigger. I'll take out the background of this, and then we'll drag it into our design on Canva. Looks like it's going to take a while. So I'll save this image. And then once we have this image, I'll drag it into here, which is our Canva post. And then I will remove the background. Now, here you could also maybe add in a logo. Like in the original post that we're sampling, they have a logo for LinkedIn. But maybe here you're doing 2 million views on TikTok or Instagram or something like that. So it could be different. So right here, we have our Zeus. Now, one thing to note as well, they have a bit of a highlight on their character. So what you could do is you could press on edit, and then you can go on one of these filters like shadows or something, and then give him either maybe an outline, because it looks like there's a slight outline on their Zeus in white, but not so thick, right? So you just bring down the intensity, maybe just a bit, you know, like just a hint, like not even noticeably there. All right, something like that, maybe. There you go. It's like a little outline. If you don't like an outline, you can do a glow. Depends how big the glow is. See, the glows are really subtle. I like to use glows a lot. And then once you do those, you notice sometimes the shape changes. So I'll just drag it in a bit like that. And then basically this is the same concept as that one that we just looked at. So we can use this. And if you want to use this, you can just change whatever it is to fit to your design style, whatever it is you're trying to promote, because that way it's related to you, right? So this is a good design. Now, also, I just noticed on their 2 million, they have some effect as well, which is like a slight lift. Like you don't even notice it, but there you go. What that does is it brings in like some of this effect to the 2 million views part. So now we have this same vibe. Let's move on to the next one. The next one, we have the superhero one. Superman talking to Hulk, and there's a comic style thing going on. Now with this is super easy. We could just have imagine Marvel style comic, Superman talking to Deadpool. Deadpool is always fun, or Spider-Man or something, or maybe we can do just, we can even do the same superheroes, or Batman talking to Superman in, not Disney, in Marvel style comic. Now for this, I did notice that it is a square, so we could use square, or if you like vertical post, you could change the aspect ratio a bit, but this is essentially what we have here for our reference. And depending on whether you have a specific theme or not, like this here, you can see that Hulk is sitting on the grass, Superman is on a cloud. So you could be more specific with your generations. Here we have both our heroes, our protagonists next to each other, just talking, hanging out. Now, if I want, I could just put by waterfall or something. That way there's that scene that's similar to what we just had. Batman talking to Superman in Marvel comic book style, sitting in a campground, something funny. And I could do aspect ratio 3:4, so you can just get an idea of what this is going to look like when you do 3:4. So essentially we're going to have this run, and then we'll go back and look at our designs here. Now I'll just keep building on that same page. And for our reference, I'll drag that in there. It's always good to have a reference, guys. So have this reference, make it big just to see what it looks like. And you can see there's comic text boxes. So we'll look for some comic box or comic bubble. And then from there, we could use these bubbles as our speech box. So this one looks good. Maybe we can find 2 different ones, or just find which one you think looks good and then continue using that. So scroll down, there's a lot of options on Canva. If you don't like any of these options, there's also packs that you can buy with comic book speech boxes, but for the most part, I think this is enough for our use case. So I'll just grab one of these. And then to make it easy, I'll just do another one, and then you can just flip it horizontally, and then you'll have 2 people saying something. All right, so now that we have that, we can go back to our design here, and then you can see here, there's Superman and Batman sitting at a campground talking. And I actually like this second one. Does Batman look all right? It looks like he has 3 horns, which I don't like because that's a bit unrealistic. And this waterfall, something weird about this waterfall, right? Not fully there, but regardless, I do like some of these. So we could just use, I don't know why Batman has Superman's logo on his chest, but if you like this, we could regenerate it again. That's the thing with using AI, is that you can get that vibe, but you don't get it 100% there. So we could also even use some of these, but I do like the Batman and Superman theme, so I'm gonna continue using that. Now let's check to see that second image. I do think there's like 3. Yeah, so he has an odd number of horns, which isn't right, so I'm not gonna use that one. But if we go back to Discord, we'll see the new generations, and the second one looks good. We're going to use that. I don't know why they keep putting Superman's logo on Batman, but either way, this is good. We'll take that. We'll drag it into here, and then we'll have our new image. So since this is going to be in the back, I'll set it to the back. That way we can actually see these text boxes. And then I'll move this down a little bit. That way we can have them talking. All right, so here, essentially we just gotta match the boxes, and you could move it around, or you could make it smaller, whichever you think works best. So here we have Batman talking to Superman. And you can even alternatively change the directions of these dialogues. See, maybe even something like this. But you could also just use another one. I like using different ones because it shows the difference in like different person talking and another person talking. So there's many options there. We can just choose one of these, and I'll grab another one similar to that. Maybe this. Oops. Yep, bring it up there. And then now we have Batman talking to Superman. And I'll make this box like this. All right, so if we were to look at something like this, we would probably think that the Batman text is first because he's on the top left. So we will go and edit our text. Now, what are they going to say? I'm tired of working from the Batmobile or something like that, right? So we can have a text box. Let's do Comic Sans. Maybe that's the only time you can use Comic Sans, right? Or Comic Sans. All right, there you go. I'm tired of working from the Batmobile. And then from there, you could even have Superman saying, well, why don't you check out Indeed.com? Boom, perfect plug for Indeed. Indeed, if you need someone to make LinkedIn posts, hit me up. Okay, so here is Batman with his little speech. And if you don't like the angled speech, which I kind of don't like now that I'm looking at it, just move it over, change it, and change your angled speech back. And here we go. Now, this also, like, since these boxes have such weird and different sizings, you could also go in and look at which is the best vibe for you. Now, also, I noticed that it's all caps. So we can change this to all caps. Doesn't matter. Depends on the vibe, really. But this is all caps. I'm tired of working from the Batmobile. See, I actually don't like how this is so condensed on a 3-line thing. So this is 2 lines, and I kind of like this text a bit more. Of course, if you're just turning out content, you don't have to be so in depth with it. So next we'll have Superman saying something like, well, why don't you check Indeed.com? Boom, there you go. There you go. And then now we have the comic made. So this is that style, comic style, box, and editing the text to make sense for whatever they are saying. Now the third one that we're going to look at, this is a very professional style. I like how this is put together. It's pretty complicated in a way because there's so many different elements. But like we said, as we were going over it, this is one of my favorite ones. So let's go and copy that style, or at least break it down so that you guys can see how it's made. Now, if we look at this, I'll bring it into Canva so we can look at it better. As we look at this, we can see that there are certain elements to notice. First one is the text on top. Now, we could just do the rectangle box first just to get the shape in there. And depending on what your color palette is, right, you need to already have that in consideration. I do actually like the navy blue a lot, but let's just go with black. If you are going for, modern approach, maybe you have a certain color palette. Like you can see here, these are very modern looking color palettes. But I could also just use this color palette just for the sake of example, so you can get an idea of just using a different color palette. Now, I guess gradients could also look pretty cool depending on the theme. I'll use this color palette. So from here, we can see that either one, you copy their exact font, which it really depends on what your branding is like. So ideally, you have a brand kit and you already have a set of font that you're using. Otherwise, yeah, you could copy it as a reference. But if you have a set font already, then great. So you'll put your own font in there. And how to use YouTube AI, for example. Ideally, this is exactly what you need done. So for here, I'm going to use Helvetica. I kind of feel like it's a Helvetica that's a bit bold, semi-bold. What's Helvetica now? Bold, maybe Helvetica bold, bit smaller, and the fonts, the letters are closer together. I've noticed that having letters closer together is kind of on trend for what's going on right now, because I think we're in that nostalgia era, and back in the day, ads used to have a lot of close together words. So how to use YouTube AI, I'll duplicate that, and then from there you could have something that goes in to the rectangle side. Once you have that text for the rectangle side, you should change it to be white so that it pops out. So from here, analyze LinkedIn profile. So how to use YouTube AI too. And I'm not sure YouTube actually has an AI, but this is just for example, how to use YouTube AI to create better content that converts, or LinkedIn, right? Just a different niche, bringing two worlds together. This is a bit big, so I'll bring it together. You could also play with the font size a little bit. No one will really notice if it's not too drastic. So like right here, you can see that it's kind of similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's not too bad. They also implemented a technique where they lined up both the text. So we could do something like that, create content on LinkedIn. Like if I deleted that, then this could be kind of lined up and it has its own aesthetic. Now from here, this is where you get the templates of what you were doing. So like back in the day, right, you would have these PDFs that have like 8 pages. People still do it, actually. It's probably going to be in one of the next videos, but you have a PDF with 8 pages, and then you would have the information on each slide. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to have a example of a slide. So what you could do actually is to create a new page, and then on this page, this is going to be the slide that we're going to use. So one, access your LinkedIn analytics, a little text box area to describe that big title, and then we have the screenshot on the bottom. So I noticed that they have a bit of a background. So I'll use a light colored background, maybe something like this. Not too noticeable, but just a bit so that it's different. And then for our title, we could just grab something from here to be easy. I could choose something that's big and bold. Let's just go back to our original. Okay, so one, use prompts, for example, right? Like use good prompts. And then from there, we could do it in 2 lines. Use 2 good prompts while generating. And then we'll watch to see how the spacing is like. If you don't like this font, we'll change it. Maybe Helvetica bold. Okay, this is cool look. 2 lines, I prefer 2 lines. And then we are going to make it a bit smaller, all right? And then we'll add another box for information underneath. Information box, use good prompts while prompting. So when you use descriptive and precise prompts, you get better results. All right. So just to have some information on there to use, and I will make this less bold since it is not the main thing, right? Because we're doing use good prompts for generating this. I'll make it a bit smaller. The spacing of it, as you can see, compared to this, it's just so different. So we need to make the letter spacing a bit closer so that it fits the vibe of it. Now, we have that in there, and it fits the description. Now, what you could also do is add a screenshot, which is what that person had. So I'm just going to go on YouTube and maybe click on one of my videos or something, view a channel, and then I'll just have this. I'll just take a screenshot of this. Okay, this is a random screenshot of this, since the goal of it is really just to make a screenshot. All right, so here is it, screenshot, title, and the text section that highlights what is happening. So from here, you could maybe export this, or for example, I'm just gonna take a small screenshot. Well, maybe something a little better. Oops. I'm just gonna take a screenshot and then we're gonna drag it into our design. All right, there's our screenshot. And then I'll drag it into our design. Okay. Not working, huh? Upload. Okay, cool. No, not working. Okay, do it again. Get a screenshot of this. And then I will put it in here. All right, great. So from here, you can see that he has a bunch of these images. There are 7 in total. Now, this is up to you how many you want to do. So I can have 7, or I could have just 6. It's really up to you. So this will be 3 on the first row. It's like really close to each other. Okay. See, I can't even see the difference like in the color because it's so close. All right, so this is different colors now. And I want to pull it a little bit bigger. So now if you already have one, you can do a few just so it has a template for you to pull on. And then if you want to copy and do some similar concept of this is just a box with the prompts that you can try. You could have a text section under here, for example. Depends on what you want to include in there. So you can have text box, prompts you can try. And then we'll do Helvetica again. Helvetica bold. You know what? I hate typing and doing this all over. Sometimes I just duplicate one of the old texts. And of course, we don't need white. So let's just duplicate the black one and bring it down. How do you use YouTube AI 2? Well, it doesn't need to be that big. Prompt practice. Okay, so now you have a prompt practice section. And then on this prompt practice section, maybe create a rectangle box, kind of like what they have. So a rectangle. And I'll go and look for a shape again. A rectangle. Depends on what you want to do with this. You can bring it all the way out. And then remove the filler. Fill it with nothing. Here's the border. So now you kind of have something with a border and a box. Now I want to change this color to that palette that we have chosen. All right. So, I think I changed everything. Good. Oh, well. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So prompt practice. Ideally, you just put some of these prompts in here or something, and then we'll go down to the last thing, which is that little bar, the little black bar, which we could use as this blue bar. And so it looks like his is super thin and skinny, which is good because it's so subtle. So we'll also make one that's thin and skinny. And from here, we can do follow, your photo, name, what you do in white, and then repost. So from there, we can do a repost logo or something. Repost maybe this. Okay. See, that's why I like Canva. There's so much use cases for their design packs. Like this is just easily accessible. There you go. Repost. Now let's zoom in just to be better with what we're making. All right. Prompt practice. Same font. I like this font, so I'll bring it over here. Repost. Change this to blue, to the color white. Don't repost it. All right. So now we have repost here. Draw people's attention to repost. We could also duplicate this to have your name, the end, I think that's what it is, right? Follow and his name. And back to here. So on the bottom, we have this section that says follow. So let's do the follow. And it's not bold, so let's just make it fully caps, not bold, and a bit smaller. It doesn't have to be so loud, right? All right. Oh, his isn't caps, but I kind of like caps. Well, repost isn't caps. All right, let's just do follow. No caps. Follow, and then I can put a picture of me, maybe. Where am I? There you go. All right, there's a picture of me. Easy. Okay. You don't even need to crop out the circle. So we'll take this picture. I'll do the background remover thing so that it's just a circle. Oh, no, let's not do a background remover. All right. Circle. There it is. Now, put it here. Oh, electricity's back, looks like. Okay, so I actually will do the background remover. I think it has a cool look. So with the background remover, I removed the background, I have the follow, and then next to it, I'm gonna post or put the name, what I do, which I'm not an AI content marketer, or am I? I guess I am. Depends on what market we're delivering on, right? So for here, I'll put my name, Arnold Trin, Helvetica now, but bold, right? I like it bold. Bold. Duplicate this again. A AI content marketer. Or funnel master. That'll be a funny one. AI content funnel master. All right. We're just doing this as a joke, but AI content funnel master. I mean, it's not too far removed, actually. Too far-fetched. Okay, so you also notice that they have this in blue. I don't think blue has as much of a strong impact as white, but it does separate things a little bit. So we can change it just to see what it looks like. So I have this now in black. You could maybe try a dark blue or something. Oops. Like this part, maybe a dark blue. Regardless, I think it looks pretty good. It's not like it's a game changer kind of thing, but you can see here, it's very similar now. So we haven't done this box thing, but really it's the same concept. If you are doing more graphics here, you could just have smaller graphics here on the side and then leave room for the box. So really it's just aligning things in here so that it fits. And for prompt practice here, we just need like one of those e pluribus unum. What is it called? Like space holder, text holder, something that holds the text that e pluribus unum thing. Is it? Or actually, maybe it's not. This is the American thing. Okay. You know what? It's just slipping my mind. I'm not sure what it even is that I'm looking for, but I know what I'm looking for. It's the thing when you make a website or you make anything, a placeholder, you use it in place of text. It's Latin too, but I can't find it right now. So we're just going to use this as the placeholder for now. And you can see this coming together looks something like this. And depending on what you want it to look like, I think this should be a bit of a closer letter together kind of thing. And ideally capitalized and lowercase and whatnot, but it's okay. I'm just showing you guys so you have an idea of how the design is going to look and come together. And as you can see, this is what this is. And we kind of made it in a way that's similar to our style. So now you know how to make 3 very well performing LinkedIn post styles. So on the next video, I'll go into some more. I'll break down how these funnels work, and we'll start making some more styles and look at some more styles that we can steal. But for the most part, here you have 3 different styles. You can try it out and see if it fits with the vibe of your brand and your audience. If your audience likes what this looks like, then you can continue using it, reiterating on it, and seeing what is the best performing post. But there is another thing that you should note too, is the concepts that we used as we were making this. So you saw that here it's the character in the middle, how we generated it on Midjourney and then remove the background, how that's so important in bringing that into here and then bringing it alive with the glow in the back, and for the letters as well. And then for the other one too, you can see how my thought process was when I prompted to create something that is similar to the vibe of what we're referring to. So you can have a similar looking comic like right here. And then for the last one, which is the most professional, like content creator, but you can show it to your boss type of vibe, then we have this. So this is one of the ones that I've been seeing a lot that's performing really well, is that just a lot of this ideas and information packed into one. People tend to like that. So these are just a few that you can use, and this is how you make it. So I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't watched the one before this where I analyzed a lot of these designs, and go and watch that. If you want to work together, check out the description and all the links below, and I'll see you in the next video.